Yeah, Texas music goes a long way, and that's kind of the heart and soul of Woodeye. You go from, you got T-Bone Walker in the east, you got ZZ Top, all the blues guys from Houston, the Big Bopper. You go out west, you got Roy Orbison, Buddy Holly. You go to Amarillo, J.D. Souther, all these great guys that came out of Texas. And there's a soul to Texas music, and that's what I captured. It was about heart and soul and being able to take the music and create a piece of art. It was, that's what working with Hughes and John Daniel was all about. These guys knew what they were doing, they were pros, they worked it, and it was Texas music at its best.
Drowsy waters alive, drowsy waters alive. It's better start rearranging, better work a little harder each time.
Hughes was the producer, and John was the technician at the studio. And occasionally they would let our good friend Dan in, and the good times would roll.
Nothing is a purpose for the common man. Just a plain and simple reason that he might turn and stand.
The studio was great. We would have a good time, and occasionally they'd even let me sit in with them. And they would work hard. They work hard, but at the same time, we would have a blast.
But I believe in the holiness of every man, and the probabilities of it being made from a palisade. Yes, I believe that you can reach inside your heart and be secure.
Now everything's so homogenized. You get a corporate playlist, and everybody plays the same thing. Back in the day, it wasn't that way. You had Stax, you had Sun Records, you had Tamla, you had Motown. All these different parts of the country had their own style of music. And Woodeye could tap into that. You could tell them, you could tell Hughes and John, let's go this way, try something, and they could pull into that and work something up.
She was cotton and oil and money to burn, and real good people wherever you turn. Things was happening, but not too fast, and we all figured she was built to last. Shame on Dallas.
It started with their dream of being in rock and roll, not as entertainers, but just as musicians and wanting to write music. And that was their dream.
Wanna make it a weekend, baby. I could really use the time. Go to where the sands are shining in the golden ocean sun.
One of those phone calls I got was from Hughes. And he'd been out to LA, 80, 82, not sure really when. Went out there, went to some parties, met some stars, met some singers. He did some live music back in the 70s, but then he went straight to the studio.
They took their money and reinvested it in the studio, so they had state-of-the-art equipment. A lot of top-of-the-line Sony equipment, $50,000 monitors, only so many in the world, and these guys were working with these monitors. I mean, they had the best of the best. This was a great setup, and they used it every day. They were down there. They worked hard. I couldn't get them to work on the road, but in the studio, they were dogs. They got after it. I don't know how to get these guys on the road. That's a great question. How do you push somebody out there? I think deep down they wanted to go, but they had obligations. They couldn't do it. And ultimately, you have to respect that. But that was the killer question.
We finally met at his office, and he presented us with his actual CD, and it was like a 2-volume disc of all this music that he's written.
It was like a compilation.
Yeah, over, I don't know how many years.
20, 25 years.
And it was great. It was amazing. We were really surprised.
What if we hold the wind, tied in arms together? What if we never come back at all? So honey, let's run
Hughes and John Daniel went to the West Coast, talking to the record companies. The bone of contention was Woodeye and Hughes owned the masters, and so the record company didn't understand that. They're all about owning and being in control, and they couldn't handle that, so that became an issue.
Woodeye owned all the masters, they owned all their equipment. There really wasn't anything for the studios to offer them, so they just didn't tour.
Yeah, Hughes came back with a contract from the West Coast. He talked to a couple big labels out there, and they came back wanting to sign him up, but they even overcame the masters issue. That was something they had to work on, but it was done. And it just shows you how much they respected them if they would overlook that. They worked past that point, which is a big contention with record companies. You know, they want to be in control. They want to have ownership. The one thing that blew the record company's mind was they asked Hughes, how many dates you have lined up this year? And Hughes said, none. Well, they didn't know what to make of that. They're not used to that. They want you on the road. They want you out there pushing their products. So, but they still came back with the contract. So that speaks for itself. I mean, how phenomenal was that? Here's a band, they took a 25-year break, and they've not missed a beat.
He wore a Cadillac beneath his bottom lip, a twinkle in his eye. I must have heard him say 1,000 times, Ricky, don't you be surprised that the last laugh is the best laugh. I'll remain your memory. Take me to the Colorado River, boys, and say goodbye to me. 'Cause he never met a stranger, and he looked like Elvis to me. He danced around the campfire light and be as happy as he can be. No, he never met a stranger.
Now they've come to us and said we want to get our stuff out there, but we still want to remain behind the scenes. We don't want to be seen, but we have nothing visual to show. All we have is the music. So we basically said, okay, what we need to do is put something together that's visual for people to just come to the website, to watch it, to listen, and over time, eventually, they will hear what they see. We've learned that no man is an island, that it really takes a bunch of people working together even to produce stuff that's high enough quality and interesting enough for people to come to the websites or to get involved with.
Panama and a gold watch chain. I need a job. Don't change my name. Call me Chico. Chico. Chico.
How do you define your dream?
I like to walk about a foot off the ground.
I like to walk about a foot off the ground.
I like to walk about a foot off the ground.
I walk about a foot off the ground.
I like to walk about a foot off the ground. How do you define a dream? Well, how do you define a dream? I like to walk about a foot off the ground.
I like to walk about a foot off the ground. Being cool keeps my
So that now they're sending us songs that are exactly 90 seconds.
It's because their attention span is gone with age. It's our attention span. Oh, it's ours. Yeah, they'd write 10-minute songs if they could. We also get funny stuff in the mail. You know, we talked about they send us stuff and it doesn't make any sense and it's always a question mark. So we get a Rubik's Cube in the mail and we get this note that says, 47 seconds, beat this. And these are from the guys. And we're like, whatever. That's it. That's my funny spiel about the Rubik's Cube.
while they keep their sales tax free. But I believe in the holiness of every man and the probabilities of being made from a pile of sand. Yes, I believe that you can reach inside your heart and be secure. 'Cause if you're buying faith on Sunday morning, brother, you ain't rich, you're poor.
Hey!